2026. My office continues to prioritize the ability for people to live in their units, and has directed the Department of Public Health and Consumer Business Affairs to actively monitor landlord compliance and follow reported violations to ensure timely repairs. So please, if there are issues with your landlord and you are being forced into an apartment that you feel is not safe, reach out to our Department of Public Health. At my direction, DCBA representative specialized in tenant services is on site at the Altadena Community Center to assist with complaints, eviction concerns, and to connect residents to available programs. You can visit rent.lacounty.gov, again, rent.lacounty.gov for more information or to schedule an appointment with a staff member. On that note, I wanted to share that the Department of Public Health sent out nearly 500 letters this morning to landlords in Altadena to remind them about their obligations to remediate properties impacted by ash, soot, smoke, and fire debris. The county is taking tenant and community reports about the ability to get into your apartment and the violations that may be in place very seriously. Public Health will continue to deploy inspectors and consumer business affairs, and they will help us enforce. I'm also looking for additional funding opportunities to provide relief for residents and hope to have more information on that soon. I also want to highlight some services specifically for seniors. The Department of Aging is providing case management to help with forms as you navigate the rebuilding process, including those who opted out of debris removal to embark on the next steps. Additionally, the department is connecting seniors with housing for those who are still displaced. Seniors can also access home delivered meals, transportation, personal care, caregiver support, and other case management services through the Altadena Community Center. I've heard from many residents who want to be back in the community in Altadena, connecting with one another and returning to their routines. And there are many that want to exercise, enjoy the arts, enrichment classes on site for seniors. So we have made that available at Loma Alta Park. It's crucial that our county departments work together to support residents as they recover and rebuild. We're committed to knocking down silos to ensure you get the support you need and, quite frankly, that you deserve. And lastly, I wanted to note that the California Department of Insurance is unfortunately unable to be on this call today, but I wanted to make sure you all are aware of a few things. If you are running into issues with your insurance company, agent, or your adjusters, it is critical that you consider filing a request for assistance with the Department of Insurance. This is essentially a complaint that triggers the Department of Insurance as the only agency with regulatory authority over the private insurance market to investigate the matter and ensure the insurance providers are living up to their promises. You can do this online by going to insurance.ca.gov and clicking on the File a Complaint tab near the top of the page, or over the phone by calling 800-927-4357. Again, 800-927-4357. My understanding is that if you call the 800 number, you will be connected with a person who can help you through the process, not just a machine. I do appreciate the Department of Insurance staff for their ongoing participation in these weekly meetings. I know that the California Department of Insurance is connected with thousands of wildfire survivors at the Disaster Recovery Center and at their one-on-one workshops and at the virtual town halls. Still, my staff and I continue to hear from frustrated survivors trying to navigate the insurance process because they haven't heard about the request for assistance option. We will be working with the department in the coming days to improve messaging and the important information I just shared. It's important, if you have a complaint, that you file with the Department of Insurance. And if you don't get a follow-up, reach out to my office and we will make sure that the department is aware that they need to follow up with the complaints that are registered. I welcome you all in reaching out to your friends to make sure that they also are aware of this option. With that, I will turn it over to our moderator.
Thank you, Supervisor. Next up, we have an update on the debris removal progress in Altadena and surrounding regions by Colonel Sunny Avichal.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Supervisor, thanks for allowing me to speak today. So I'll give a general update on where we are on progress, and then I'll talk about some specific issues. So for awareness, for the general update, within our workload, these are people that have opted into the program. There are 5,724 people that have opted into the program, and just over 500 who have opted out. Of those 5,724, we have cleared the fire ash debris from 5,260, so just around 92%. And then in terms of where we have completed and returned the rights of entry back to the county, that's 4,525. So that's around 79% of those that have opted in. As of today, we have 43 debris removal crews working actively in Altadena. So a couple updates here, specific updates. So property owner holds. So these are property owners who have asked to delay their debris removal until the end. And so the end is pretty close right now. So we are actively reaching out to those folks to schedule their debris removal within the next week or so. We will work with you if you can't be in person. We'll FaceTime you. We'll try and do whatever we can to accommodate you. But again, we are going to be actively reaching out to those property owners that wanted to be on hold. Secondly, special inclusion properties. So we will still continue to receive these properties, and we have been getting them from FEMA on a daily basis. As of right now, we have 32 total properties that are in this category. So these are things like public properties, churches, private nonprofits. Again, there are 32 properties in this category. As of today, this afternoon, we should be complete with 14 of those 32 properties. Commercial properties, we're still awaiting a final decision from FEMA. Hopefully we will have that decision this week. And then a reminder to folks about abatement properties. So again, the deadline from the county has been 30 June for those that opted out to do their private property debris removal. At that point, that their properties will go through an abatement process with the county, and then we should receive all of those types of properties by July 15th. Now that's important to note because we've been asked a lot about the Altadena golf course and how long those operations will take place, and there are two things that are kind of involved in that decision making. One is how many commercial properties, or if we do receive commercial properties to do debris removal on, and then secondly is going to be those abatement properties and how many of those come our way. So again, the Altadena golf course is open right now. It will continue to process debris. It will continue to process and stage the concrete, steel, and vegetative debris. But we are starting to wind down those operations. But again, we won't know the exact date that everything will shut down until we have an exact understanding about the commercial and the abatement properties. Okay, that concludes my brief, and I will be online for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. Next, we have an update on the permitting progress in Altadena. We have two speakers from Public Works, Luis Ramirez and also Benjamin Sandoval. Luis, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. You might be on mute.
I was trying to unmute myself, and for some reason, my cursor just wasn't hitting the unmute button. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Luis Ramirez with LA County Public Works. And today we're going to provide you a brief update on the progress that's been made on plan check reviews and permits. Can we go to the next slide, please? So as of today, we have issued 22 building permits within Altadena out of approximately 661 that are in the queue for approval. 661 that are either in the queue with planning and or have been submitted to Public Works for the start of a plan review. Next slide, please. So this is a slide that we shared with you last week. This is a slide that shows the average number of permits as we've gone over the last couple of months since the incident in January. And as you can see here, the yellow line indicates the review time that planning has been taking to review submittals. And then the blue shaded line indicates the number of permits. So I think it's important to note that as the recovery period has progressed, the turnaround time for planning has been reduced, even though the number of submittals has increased. Can we go to the next slide, please? Right now, regional planning is averaging 8 business days to complete plan review, which is approximately about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Next slide, please. This is Public Works average review time. So right now we're averaging 8 business days for the initial review and 2 days for the recheck. I think it's important to note that plans are being issued after the second review. So this is a good statistic because it means that architects and engineers and designers are really addressing plan check comments that are given to them during the first review, and really addressing those when they resubmit plans so that it is easier for us to review and make sure that everything's been incorporated and approve those plans for the issuing of a building permit. Next slide, please. This is a similar graphic to the one that was shown earlier. So as you can see, the orange line, it depicts the first plan review, which is usually the time that architects and engineers provide us a complete submittal for plan review. The green line depicts the amount of time it's been taking for us to recheck drawings after they get resubmitted to us, addressing all plan check comments that have been given. And then the blue shaded line depicts the number of applications that we have been receiving. So as you can see, we saw a spike in the month of May. The initial plan review time went up. Our goal is to do it within 10 business days or 2 weeks. And in May, there was a period of time where we were averaging 12 days, but our overall average remains at 8 days. Next slide, please. So as we've been discussing at these meetings, there are 2 pilot programs that we have established and created to try to reduce the amount of time that it takes for folks to get their building permit. The first one is the pre-approved plans. And as was discussed, this is a program by which an architect engineer can submit a set of drawings for a specific design that goes through full plan review. And then they can take that drawing that has been pre-approved and adapt it to a homeowner's site. And what this does is that if they use that pre-approved plan, it shortens the amount of time that it would take for the site-specific review to take place, because basically we are just focusing our review on the site, making sure that any easements are addressed, entitlements, and so it is a much quicker review because we don't have to go through the building permit review time. So this graphic indicates that we have received 35 applications for pre-approved plans, and to date, we have not approved any. Good track here is that regional planning cleared 26 for approval. 17 have been submitted to Public Works for review. We have returned 4 with comments, and there are 8 that are in the queue because we have not received a full set of plans for review, and or because building permit fees haven't been paid. The Q4 review for Public Works is 5, so we are making progress through those. Next slide. We also have the self-certification program, by which a licensed architect and engineer can self-certify that their plans comply with building code requirements. The first step for somebody to be able to submit self-certified plans is for them to register for the program. So as you can see here, we have received 36 applications, and so far we have approved 22 folks to self-certify. Next slide, please. We will be having a virtual workshop on June 28th, which will be on Resilient Building Resources Guide. This is a guide that was developed and it's available at the Recovery website. And this workshop will really start looking at all the recommendations in those guidelines to make sure that your architects, engineers, and or designers are taking advantage of all the different design measures that will ensure that your building, your home, your business will be resilient and will be able to withstand and be more resilient to future natural disasters. So we're really recommending that everybody enroll for the workshop. It's on a Saturday. It is virtual via Zoom from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Upcoming workshops will also be focused on self-certification so that residents, homeowners, and architects, engineers can get more information about what the self-certification program entails. And that workshop is being developed and it will be scheduled at a later time, and you'll be getting information here and also through the Recovery website. Next slide, please. And that's the end of our presentation. I'll be here to answer questions throughout the rest of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luis. Next up, we do have top of mind. Many wildfire survivors are asking what kind of relief and financial support is available to them. And we have a representative joining us today from FEMA. I welcome Hiru Toya to provide his updates.
Hi, thank you, Helen. Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you, Supervisor Barger, for having us and your continued leadership. So my name is Hiru Toya. I'm the Federal Coordinating Officer for FEMA. And my team and I have been here since January 9th, working very closely with our partners at Cal US. Some of those colleagues you might see in the room with me here on this OWL system. So as of today, June 9th, we have made over $3 billion directly available to eligible homeowners, renters, and businesses who have been impacted by the disaster. And this total includes $136 million in what's called the Individual Assistance Program for FEMA. And that's helped 34,580 survivors to date. Part of that program is what we call the Rental Assistance Program, which provides money directly to eligible survivors to find temporary housing. And some numbers there, we've assisted 758 homeowners and 2,686 renters. And more than 18.6 million have been approved for rental assistance through FEMA. So if you've registered with FEMA and you were displaced by the fires and you need assistance paying for rentals, please do get in touch with us, and I'll provide some contact information at the end of this brief. So in addition to FEMA's Individual Assistance Program, we have the Small Business Administration that's been helping out here. And their total is now at about $2.9 billion in low interest loans, and that's for both businesses and for homeowners and residents. Actually, most of that money has gone towards for homeowners and renters. That's $2.4 billion in low interest loans that have been approved for homeowners and renters, and $461 million approved for businesses. Now, these are low interest loan programs in which it doesn't actually start accruing interest until you receive a disbursement. So you could get approved for a loan, but not receive a disbursement. So you have that capital available to you should you need it. And at the right time, you're able to get a disbursement on that. And that's when the clock starts ticking for the interest that will accrue. And again, it's a low interest loan. Now, it's important to note that the registration period for FEMA assistance ended on May 30th. But those of you that registered, we are still able to continue to provide assistance. So do keep in touch with us. For SBA, for physical damages, so that's damages to your property, building, equipment, vehicle, things like that, the registration period ended on May 30th as well. But what I want to note here is the Small Business Administration is continuing to take applications, new applications for what's called the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. And that's for those businesses that experienced a substantial economic injury from the disaster, meaning that the business is unable to meet its financial obligations and cover the necessary operating expenses because of the disaster. So again, SBA is continuing to accept applications for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program for businesses through October 8th, 2025. One other program I want to highlight today is the Disaster Unemployment Insurance or Disaster Unemployment Assistance. Now, this is funding provided by FEMA, but the program is administered by the California State Employment Development Department. The deadline to apply for the Disaster Unemployment Assistance is tomorrow, June 10th, 2025. So if your employment was affected by the fires and you need assistance, please visit edd.ca.gov to find out more information and to apply. So of course, as Colonel Avishal mentioned, we are continuing to work very closely with the county and the state and the Army Corps on the debris removal efforts. But just quickly, I want to mention some of the other effort that FEMA has going on while we're deployed down here. And that work is to reimburse local and state government as well as certain nonprofits for emergency response as well as rebuilding expenses from the disaster, so that they can continue to provide those critical services to you all. So we're going to continue to work hard to get the local government, the state government, everything they're legally entitled to and all the eligible reimbursements so that they can continue to serve you all. So finally, we did close our disaster recovery centers at the end of last month, but FEMA is still here, and we are grateful to the city and the county for providing space for us to operate out of. So if you're out on the west side, I think most of you are in the Altadena area, but for those that are on the west side, we do have presence at the city's one-stop rebuilding center. And in Altadena, we're at the Altadena Community Center. So please do keep in touch with us as your situation changes. It could be maybe that your insurance is no longer covering for your alternate living expenses. Well, FEMA might be able to help you with that. So please keep in touch with us. You probably heard us mention this multiple times that we are legally not allowed to duplicate benefits. So if you're receiving financial assistance from, say, insurance for something, then we can't provide assistance for that same thing. But if your insurance benefits are short on that, or if you run out, then we may be able to assist you. So please do keep in touch with us. And you can do that through our 800 number, 1-800-621-3362. You can keep in touch with us through disasterassistance.gov. Or once again, you can come see us at the Altadena Community Center at the One Stop Rebuilding Center on the west side. And that's it for me.
Thank you for those updates, Hiro. Next, we're moving on to updates from the Department of Consumer and Business Affairs. We have Liliana Garcia.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Barger, for the opportunity to share an update from the Department of Consumer and Business Affairs. My name is Liliana Garcia, and I'm the director of the Altadena Community Center. DCBA is here to help residents recover from this disaster, and our goal is to ensure that consumers, homeowners, and tenants are protected and have access to the resources they need during times of crisis. It is a privilege to have the opportunity to manage a place that is so important for the Altadena community. We hope it again becomes a beacon for the community, right in the heart of Altadena, where the community can meet, learn, and develop. DCBA was given management of the Altadena Community Center in January, which was sadly interrupted by the Eaton fire. While the neighboring Altadena Senior Center was destroyed in the fires, the community center remained intact despite sustaining severe smoke damage. So we have yet to open up with the full scope of services the community normally provides. The center normally provides. In the future, we look forward to providing on-site services for the county and community groups, including Altadena Historical Society, Altadena Town Council, Altadena Heritage, Chamber of Commerce, and NAACP, and many more. But now, as of last Monday, DCBA, along with the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services, Cal-OES, has opened the doors of the Altadena Community Center as a temporary survivor support location. Next slide, please. This new location ensures continued access to in-person essential services for residents affected by the Eaton fire, following the closure of the disaster recovery centers in Altadena and West Los Angeles. People now have access to in-person assistance from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, the U.S. Small Business Administration, SBA, LA County's Tax Treasurer Collector, the Assessor's Office, Department of Mental Health, and DCBA. Services include assistance understanding FEMA correspondence, help submitting additional documentation and appealing decisions, guidance on applying for low-interest federal disaster loans. Our DCBA staff provides wraparound support services, including consumer counseling, guidance on tenant protections, worker assistance, and connections to additional county resources that support long-term recovery for individuals and families. We know the road to recovery will be long for people grappling with the toll of the fires. We hope this center will provide a convenient place right in their neighborhood to turn to for support. The Altadena Community Center is located at 730 East Altadena Drive. Parking is available on site, and our hours of operation are Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. No appointment is needed. Just stop by whenever you need assistance or guidance. The survivor support location will be open at least through the end of July. Next slide, please. The services available here at the Altadena Community Center are separate from the services that remain available at the Altadena One-Stop Permit Center. The Altadena One-Stop Permit Center is still the hub for homeowners to receive permitting information for their rebuild. Agencies at the One-Stop Permit Center include the Fire Department, Regional Planning, Public Health, Public Works, and SoCal Edison. Homeowners can schedule a consultation appointment and receive information specific to their property, including permit records, assessor records, and property attributes. The Altadena One-Stop Permit Center is located at 464 West Woodbury Road, Suite 210. Appointments and walk-in services are available. You can get more information about the One-Stop Permit Center at recovery.lacounty.gov or by calling 626-424-6743. Once again, thank you for letting me share this update by the Department of Consumer and Business Affairs.
Thank you, Liliana. Next, we're moving on to the topic of public health, and we have joining us Dr. Nicole Quick with the LA County Department of Public Health to address soil testing and other relevant issues. Dr. Quick?
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. I want to spend a couple minutes talking about a soil testing program that we have for those that are in the affected area in Eaton. Following a board motion that was on April 15th, Public Health has been directed to use up to $3 million from the lead settlement fund for this soil testing. Once again, want to reiterate, this soil testing is for those that are within the Eaton burn area, outside of the Eaton burn area, anywhere downwind from that Eaton burn area. This is a free soil testing program. What you can do is you collect your own soil sample. You take a soil sample from 4 places in your yard, fill out a lab submission slip. No need to send that in. It comes to a drop spot, and we send that to one of the certified labs that the county is working with. Individuals who do this testing program will receive results back via email within 7 to 10 days. And along with those lab results, there's detailed information on how to interpret those results. So once again, these are for folks that are in the Eaton burn area, outside of the Eaton burn area that's downwind. A couple more specifics on that as well. We have a web page that I'm going to direct folks to. That's publichealth.lacounty.gov. There's a banner at the top of that homepage right now that will link you to the Eaton Fire Soil Testing Program. Go ahead and click on that. That will take you to the web page that has detailed instruction on how to obtain the soil sample, do the submission form, as well as a lot of FAQs related to how to interpret the results for that soil program. Did also want to let people know that also on that homepage, there is information on the free blood lead testing program that DPH is offering. Various ways to get that blood testing done. You can schedule an appointment directly with Quest. We also have upcoming community events, which are listed on the webpage. Also want to let folks know that for some people, the easiest way to get a blood lead test is to ask your own doctor. That's generally covered by insurance plans as well. But all of that information is on our webpage. And once again, that is publichealth.lacounty.gov for that webpage for the soil testing, which is free for those folks that are in the Eaton area and downwind. Get information there as well as on blood lead testing. All right, thank you, and I will be available for questions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Quick. And our last presentation for today will be delivered by Michelle Majors. Dr. Majors is with the Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Just a few topics. Can somebody post the slide that I have that I sent earlier? And if you don't have it, I can just talk. There. So we have a staff who is going to Loma Alta Park and is doing every Wednesday from 12 to 1 a older adult support group. And basically that came about because our colleagues in other areas were saying that the older adults at Altadena were asking for that. So that will be going on, and maybe we can send out the flyer. It's once a month, every Wednesday starting May 21st. So May 21st, June 18th, July 2nd, and we can send you the other dates so that if you're interested. In addition to that, I also met with our colleagues from Parks and Rec this past Friday, and we are looking to establish some areas where we can have people come and talk about their experiences with the fire and, you know, how they're dealing with it, you know, strengths, things that they're struggling with. Likely the plan right now is that there will be one meeting per week, roughly from like about, 11 to 12 or, 12 to 1. There will be a second meeting later in the evening. I'm guessing maybe starting at 5 or 6 o'clock. And then finally, there'll be one on the weekends. So we haven't really solidified that yet, but that's a tentative plan. And so as soon as we have that confirmed, we will go ahead and let you know when those services are available. And as always, you can always reach out to the number. It should be right here if you need any help. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And this is Madeline taking over moderation duties for the duration of the meeting. We will now transition to the question and answer portion of our evening. The following questions were submitted ahead of tonight's community meeting, and we will answer as many of them as we can in the allotted time. As a reminder, you can find answers to frequently asked questions on recovery.lacounty.gov/Altadena. Zoom participants can also submit questions in real time using the Q&A function found at the bottom of your screen. So for those of you who are on YouTube who would like to submit questions, we encourage you to hop onto the Zoom meeting using the QR code on your screen. We will leave this QR code on for the duration of the first 2 questions in hopes that you are able to join us and submit your questions using the Q&A function. Questions submitted in the YouTube chat will not be answered. Our first question is for Public Works. Are there any grants for landlords to assist with cost for fencing, yard replacement, and driveway?
Great question. At this time, we are not aware of any grants for that. We did apply for a hazard mitigation grant that will assist homeowners with the cost to doing lateral underground connections when Edison begins to underground overhead power lines. But at this time, we have not seen or heard of any grants to cover the cost of fencing and or the repair of driveways.
Thank you, Luis. Our next question is for public health. Public health has offered soil testing for certain homes. If our test results are positive, what are the next steps?
So thank you so much for that question. If the tests are positive, so if you participate in our program, you will receive within 7 to 10 days a lab result back from the contracted lab that we are working with. On that, there will be a link to the website, or you can go ahead and go to the website for detailed information on steps folks can take depending on where your level in your soil is found. So there's information about things that folks can do if they find that their their lead level in their soil is elevated slightly above the 80, which is the standard set by the state of California, or if potentially to consider further steps if it's higher. So really the first step is to go ahead and participate in that. Right now, if folks want to go to our website, we have information on there on steps that anybody can take if they're concerned about lead and potential contamination. We also have information there for people who are exceeding the 80 threshold set by the state all the way up to high levels of lead. So that the specifics are going to be specific to what your level is, but lots of information on there, including times to consider bringing in a remediation expert, which may be necessary depending on your situation and the level. So I would encourage folks to check out our website.
Thank you. A question for the Army Corps. If residential debris is to be cleared by June 30th, what does that mean for end of the use at the Altadena Golf Course? Colonel, are you still on with us? Okay, we'll circle back to that question. Our next question is for our representative from FEMA. Does the 18 months of FEMA rental assistance start on 1/7/25, or does it start once you have started to receive monies?
Hey, this is Hiro for FEMA. That's a great question. So it starts on the date of the declaration. So it starts on January 8th, and it will go on for 18 months from there. So what we do with rental assistance is the initial rental assistance will be essentially a 3-month tranche of rent expense is determined by HUD's fair market rent for the area. So that's an amount that's determined for us. We don't have any control over that. And that's the initial rental assistance. And if you have ongoing needs, we have what's called a continued temporary housing assistance, in which we can continue to provide you assistance in 2-month increments. So again, please do continue to keep in touch with us as your needs change and evolve. And we'll do what we can to provide the assistance that that you're legally entitled to.
Thank you. And I see Acting Captain Ethan Marquez has his hand up. Did you want to add something? Okay, moving on.
No, thank you. That was me trying not understanding how technology works. Sorry.
Not a problem. Our next question is for fire. Does the fire department have information on any structures that were saved by activated fire suppression sprinkler systems?
Richard Stillwagon, Assistant Chief, LA County Fire Department. No, we don't keep that data for wildland fires or fires that start on the exterior of the home. Fire sprinklers are designed for those fires that start within a home and they were designed to keep the occupants safe and give them an opportunity to get out of the home safely. Our current data from 2021 from the National Fire Protection Association shows an 89% reduction in the loss of life for those homes having fire sprinklers. So that's their main focus. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question reads, who is responsible for removing the erosion control lines and sandbags from properties once owners are ready to rebuild?
The property owners are responsible for removing the erosion control measures. They do need to be maintained through the appropriate stage of construction. We encourage you to maintain them on site until you begin construction, and you can work with your contractor. They're typically very familiar with those measures, and they'll ensure that everything is built to the point where they can be before they are removed.
Thank you. And another question either for Public Works or Regional Planning. After our lots have been cleared, are there any special requirements from Cal OSHA for builders in order to begin construction on those lots?
That would be a question that would be best addressed by Cal OSHA. I'm not aware of any special requirements, and I'm not sure if there's a Cal OSHA representative on the call that might be able to chime in.
I don't believe that there is a rep from Cal OSHA on this call. Moving on to our next question, will the Army Corps or the county be repairing the sidewalks and or driveways that have been damaged by Army Corps activity?
So I can speak for driveways. Driveways are, as you sign your right of entry, you know, those are incidental damages, and no, we will not be repairing driveways or sidewalks as part of our portion of this. I do think that I'll defer to the county on the sidewalk portion. Over.
So this is Luis Ramirez with Public Works. After the majority of projects or homes are rebuilt in Altadena, Public Works plans to look at our road infrastructure, which would include the sidewalks and repair what requires repairing. It's not going to be done right away because we anticipate additional damage once construction begins. There's going to be a lot of heavy equipment that's coming in and out of the area. But once a certain percentage of the homes in the area are completely reconstructed or rebuilt, then there is a plan that we're putting together on how we will repair and or replace damaged infrastructure. So that is something that we're considering. It's just something that you won't see right away. It's going to happen after the majority of homes are rebuilt.
Thank you, Luis. Moving on, for commercial property owners who are evaluating their options, can Public Works provide some guidance on what the cost would be through the abatement process? For example, we are trying to understand whether we should move forward with obtaining a private contractor or not.
So costs are based on the size of the parcel, right? So it's hard to pinpoint a cost. I can tell you that the cost will likely be similar to the cost at the Army Corps of Engineers. It has been providing folks or estimating for properties. We always give people the option of getting their FDR if they are not part of or they're not included in the parcels that are being cleared by the Army Corps, and having a private contractor do the work. I've been talking about the abatement process at previous meetings, and our goal really through this abatement process is to continue to work with property owners, both commercial and residential property owners, to help them get fire debris and ash removed from their properties by the June 30th date. We have been accommodating with appeals that have been received and connecting people with the resources they need. If you're a residential property owner and you opted out, for example, and are reconsidering the decision to opt out, and you haven't begun any debris removal on a property, you do have the option to enroll in the Army Corps program through a special inclusion ROE. And our folks have been assisting individuals that have appealed previous abatement orders in getting enrolled. As was mentioned, we should have information from FEMA regarding which commercial properties will be included in the debris removal program this week. But we have been messaging to commercial property owners that really, if FEMA has not approved you this late in the game, it is likely that they may not approve you. And so they need to start making plans for either removing the property themselves and or waiting to be abated by the county at the end after June 30th, which is the deadline for debris removal. But we always recommend that they go through the process of removing debris themselves. I have heard estimates, and Colonel, please chime in if I'm incorrect, but they can run from anywhere in the $60,000-$70,000 range up to over $100,000, depending on how big the lot is and the amount of debris that is being removed.
So just a point of clarification, we don't do estimates or charge folks for debris removal, but I have heard similar.
That's correct.
Just anecdotally, I have heard similar price ranges from those that do the private property debris removal on their own. So that does sound like the right price range that I've heard also.
Yeah, no, and I didn't mean to insinuate that you guys are charging property owners, but I know that the work is being done through consultants and contractors, and that is the range that we had been hearing.
Thank you both. A follow-up question, Luis, for Public Works. Can Public Works offer an initial estimate of the cost of repairing Altadena's infrastructure?
We don't have those costs yet. It is being developed. We're looking at an enterprise-wide and assessing the cost to rebuild all of the infrastructure that is maintained by Public Works, which will include roads, storm drain. We're even looking at some of the sewer infrastructure that is in there. And those costs are being generated, but I don't have a preliminary estimate at this time.
Thank you. Our next question is for Army Corps. My lot was cleared of debris several weeks back, however, or Public Works. However, I have not received the certificate of completion. Is there a number to call about the certificate of completion?
Yes, there is a number. Of course, I don't have it with me right this second, but you can call our help desk, and I will put it in the chat as soon as I get it here in a few seconds. So thanks.
Thank you, Colonel, and I will read out that phone number as soon as it's available. Moving on for our next question, again for Army Corps. How will we know when our ROEs are completed?
So the way the process works is we'll clean the debris, and then we will do what we call the final sign off, and those are coming back pretty quickly, probably within a week or two after you do your debris removal. And then that gets sent to the county, and then they do a final process of it. And then I think about a week or so later, you'll receive an email from the county with the final sign off, essentially certificate type of email that essentially says that your property's been cleared through our system. So again, it's the county that'll send that final email to you.
Thank you. Transitioning to a question for public health. Considering that testing is finding high level of lead in the Eaton fire area, is there a plan to put out another statement informing people of the environmental conditions that we can then share with our insurance companies?
So that's a great question, and I do want to point out and point people to the public health fire website again. We do have a public health advisory that states that people who are residing within 250 yards of the burn area or uncleaned up, fire debris, ash and soot, that you may be more likely to be exposed to that and may be more likely to have potential exposure to contamination and symptoms related to that. That information is available on the website. That information has actually gone into some of the information related to insurance commissioners. So that is the public health advisory that is still in effect related to that. That I would point people to the information that we have on there as well, related to information on what folks can do and thinking about needing to navigate with their insurance on that one, and some of the information that was shared earlier related to practices and where you can call if you're having problems negotiating that. But did want to say that we do still have an active public health advisory related to what we know is a potential for exposure related to that fire debris, ash and soot, and that unremediated cleanup areas and within 250 yards of that.
Thank you, Dr. Quick. And for those listening in, that Army Corps call center number is 213-308-8305. Again, that's 213-308-8305. And we have time for one final question. It reads, if someone opted out but now wants to opt in through a special process, but FEMA denies it, and the property is abated, will the homeowner be responsible for the abatement, or can it still be added to the U.S. Army Corps bill being submitted to the county?
So many parts to the question. So the way that the process works is that if somebody opted out, and I alluded to that earlier, if you're a residential property owner and you opted out and you have not began work on your property, we are recommending that you contact us to get a special inclusion right of entry, which will include you in the FEMA sponsored program where the cleaning is being done by the Army Corps at no cost to you. If you're a commercial property owner and your request to join the program by FEMA has been denied, then it will be up to you to pull a fire debris removal permit and complete the removal of debris by the 30th. And if it is not done, then the county Public Works would proceed with removing the debris and then charging you for the cost of that work. We have gone through 2 rounds of summary abatement orders. The first round started in mid-May, and that was for property owners that had neither opted in or out. We received upwards of 50, 60 appeals that we have processed. So far, no abatement actions have taken place as a result of that initial round of summary abatement orders. We went through a second round at the beginning of June, which was aligned with the June 1st deadline for for having to obtain a fire debris removal permit, and we are processing those appeals. I wanted to mention that tomorrow night is the last day actually to be able to submit an appeal on that second round of summary abatement orders. So I'm really urging everybody to, if you received a summary abatement order and you have pulled your fire debris removal permit and or clear the debris and just didn't pull a permit, go ahead and submit your appeal before tomorrow at midnight. You can do it by scanning the QR code on the abatement order that was posted on your property, and or going to the LA County Recovery website and filling out an appeal form electronically. You can also email it and or drop it off in person at the Altadena One-Stop Permit Center. But it is important that we continue to make progress towards removing fire ash and debris from properties by June 30th. As Dr. Quick indicated, there is a health officer order that is advising folks of the dangers that are associated with fire ash, especially if you're within 250 feet of a property that was burned. So this abatement process really is to bring the county into compliance so that all the fire ash and debris is removed and disposed of properly from these properties. I hope I answered the question. But if there's any clarifications that are needed, I'd be happy to answer those too.
Thank you, Luis, and thank you everyone for joining us. That's all the time we have for today. For more information, you can visit your local disaster recovery center or find us online at recovery.lacounty.gov /Altadena. And we'll see you all next week. Signing off.